Welcome to the Haven for Soul Care, the podcast where we explore the art of nurturing the mind, body, and spirit. Each week, we bring you inspiring stories, insightful conversations, and practical tips to help you create a life of balance, peace, and purpose. Whether you're seeking guidance on personal growth, wellness, or simply need a moment to reconnect, this is your safe space. I'm your host, Brianna, and I'm so glad you're here. Let's dive in and take care of the soul. Welcome to another episode of the Haven for Soul Care, and I'm your host, Brianna. And today we have Cathy with us, and I want to go ahead and get right into it because I'm excited about this interview on today. So, Cathy, I want you to go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience, and we're going to get right into it.
My name's Cathy Yoder, and I've been an accidental entrepreneur for about 20 years, and just been an interesting path that's gotten me here. But I'm a mom of 8 kids. I've got just 4 at home now. My youngest is 10, and I started kind of online sharing content online way back in 2008, and it's just morphed and evolved into this point where I now have a YouTube channel. I teach people how to use their air fryer, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. So,
Yeah, yeah.
you know,
Uh, well, I want to say this to you because as soon as I got your book, I went ahead and immediately put it to use. And when
awesome.
I say that the meals I have created, now I'm not a cook because my kids are grown, but I wanted to do this because I wanted to utilize my air fryer a little more. Because I've had it for like 5 years, and I think my kids probably have used it more than I have. Um, and so delicious meals, the and easy to make, quick to make meals. And I mean, um, I've utilized some chicken and some what else? It was something else I've made, but anyway, I can't think of it right now. But let me tell you, and so now it just sits on my shelf in my kitchen. So when I do go to cook, I'm grabbing it, getting the recipes, getting the ingredients, and making my list. And that's my new go-to book.
Yay, awesome. Yeah, I actually, it's kind of funny. Ironically, I don't love to cook. I don't consider myself a chef. But that's what made the air fryer fun was I was like, I had to figure out a way to have fun in the kitchen. And so that
Mhm.
made it fun and then faster too.
Yes.
So, and like for me, if I see a recipe with like a cajillion ingredients or things I can't pronounce, or I'm like, I have no idea where to find that in the store, I'm like, yeah, nope.
Yeah.
So I definitely had to make something, the recipes are just simple. They just have to be
Mhm.
simple, otherwise I don't do them. So
Yeah, yeah, and they are very simple and they're cost effective too. So or cost efficient. Hopefully I'm saying cost efficient. Yeah, I think so. But so yeah, so it doesn't break you at the store when you're going to go shop for this stuff either. So
right. Yeah. Yeah. So it's kind of been fun and an interesting journey for sure.
yeah, yeah. So what made you say, okay, this is something that I need to do?
For YouTube or air fryer.
Look, I think
Which part?
YouTube and then going into the air fryer, all of it.
Yeah, so so originally in 2008 I started blogging about, like, it was a coupon blog way back then, when I remember now it feels like, oh, wouldn't we love that inflation from 2008? Those were easy price raises. But for me, it was just like I was noticing the cost of everything going up. And so I was like, I need to figure out how to save money. And so I just started looking into the couponing game and just started sharing things online for friends and family. And then it blew up. There were a lot of people looking at my blog that I didn't even know. Anyway, so it morphed into a business, and then, like, 2009, my husband was laid off. We just found out we were expecting baby number 7. And, he couldn't, nobody could find work in 2009. So,
Hmm.
what was a hobby turned into a business. So, fast forward 10 years later, I was at a blogging conference with some, other bloggers that I knew, and had a conversation with somebody that she was doing a YouTube channel. And she was like, Cathy, you need to get on YouTube. and just go do recipes on YouTube. Because my blog, we had recipes on the blog because we were like, if you buy the groceries, here's how to use it.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of natural there. And so 2019, like she just sat on the phone with me and I was like, okay, tell me what to do. And she just coached me through it. And I had like 16 pages of notes. And it was like 2 days before Christmas.
Oh,
And she
wow.
gave and gave. And I was like, okay, I need to just hire you to be my coach. Anyway, 2020 started and I had the intentions of starting. And then my daughter had needed like thyroid surgery. Anyway, so I was like, okay, next month. And then March 2020 happened. And I was like, everybody, we were all like, how do we
Yeah, yeah,
function?
yeah, yeah.
So finally it was in May 2020 when I started uploading. And what she taught me was we do different kind of content buckets. So I was doing slow cooker, instant pot, air fryer, freezer meals, and copycat recipes. And I would just alternate between those to teach the YouTube algorithm that I was a recipe channel.
Mm-hmm.
But I noticed after a few months of doing that is that it was just the air fryer content is what was getting, more views.
Mm-hmm.
So by fall of 2020, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go all in on air fryer. It didn't make sense to make the other ones because nobody was watching those.
Mm-hmm.
So I went all in on air fryer and um it was just crazy because I believe I can't remember. December 2020, I started the month with I think 2,500, maybe it might have been 5,000 subscribers. And I ended the month with over 10,000,
Wow.
because everybody got air fryers December 2020. And
Mm-hmm.
then by March 2021, I hit 100,000. So it was really literally this kind of almost an overnight thing where I went from 0 comments to crazy amount of comments and just kind of balancing all of that out. And then from there, my audience was like, we want a cookbook. And I was like, I don't know how to do that. And then so I did like an ebook first
Mm-hmm.
and that May 2021 and it did great. And then a lot of my audience is like 55 and older. And they were like, that's great, but we want an actual cookbook. And I was like, ugh. So it took me finally by December, like the week before Christmas, we were ready to sell the physical cookbook. And anyway, it's just one of those things, like if somebody said 15 years ago, they'd be like, you're going to have a YouTube channel and be a cookbook author. I'd be like, no, but here we are. It's a lot of
Yeah.
fun.
So, okay, so I have a couple of things with what you said. So, first of all, I want to tell people that the cookbook is beautiful. I mean, it's beautiful. So even where I have it in my kitchen, I have it where it still sits like it's almost like decoration, but I'm still pulling it off, right? Um, and so it's funny because my daughter, she said, "Well, Mom, I want to cook something out of here." And she said, "Do you mind if I do bunny ears?" I said, "Girl, if you bunny ear my book," I said, "we're gonna have a problem. Do not." um, and so I want to know a mom of you have 7?
8.
8, a mom
Yeah.
of 8. When do you find time to do this?
Well, it's interesting, right? But now it's a lot easier now than when we had little people, life was just crazy with little people running around. And now my youngest is 10 and she's self-sufficient, so everyone's at school and that's just when I'm filming. And um like I have a team now that helps run all the businesses because we sell other products and things now. And so I have amazing people on staff. So really what I focus on is content creation and pretty much content creation,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is
yeah. And I think that's good when you can have a team,
Mhm.
and you can just focus on the meat of what it is that you do. It takes away when you're having to focus on all this other stuff.
Yeah,
Um,
it's really hard.
hmm I love it when you talked about 2008. So you started out blogging. So in
Mhm.
2008, I was a blogger as well. I don't know if you started off with WordPress, but
No.
WordPress was the thing then.
Yeah, well, I was Blogspot because that was free, right? And
Yes.
yeah, and it was like before Facebook, so it was just like all the moms.
Mhm.
That's how we stay connected. And what do
Yeah.
you? Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I miss that, because it was more, we communicated more because it was
Yeah.
just writing, right? So yeah, I love that. Um, and so 2009, um, your husband lost his job, right?
Mhm.
I remember that time as well. And so, like you, I was trying to find something to do. And so, um, what did it feel like during that time for you with baby number 7 on the way?
It was really stressful, and I mean, I was mad at God. Like, if I was just like, because I was doing a preschool at home to, so I was still working from home. I had a preschool, and then the blog was just the fun side thing. And I was like, okay, we're going to get out of debt. I made these plans for fall 2009. I was going to do preschool Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I was going to do Tuesday, Thursday class, was in morning and afternoon. And I had it all mapped out. It's like, we are going to get out of debt, be self sufficient. And then my baby was due October 2009. And I was just like, you thought. And, in my mind, I was like, there's no way I can have a newborn and run a preschool. So, um, yeah, it was just like, it was a struggle. And I was really
Mhm.
mad. I was like, I'm trying to do what's right.
Yes.
Why did this happen?
Mhm.
I was on birth
Mhm.
control. I was.
Oh,
Anyway,
yeah.
um, but yeah, it just God had a different path.
Mhm.
Mhm. And I just got to figure things out. So my husband not working forced me to get creative. And at the time I was kind of doing it. I had a friend that joined me on the blog, and she's like, we can teach coupon classes and charge money. And I felt I was mortified. It's like, why would I charge my friends money? And I felt sick to my stomach, but we did our first coupon class in my sister's family room. And I can't remember how many people were there, but we charged $5. But I was like, oh, I needed the money. Like, my husband was getting unemployment, which was nothing.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, yeah. And then putting ads on our site also. I was like, oh, I felt so terrible. And now
Yeah.
how it is, but
Yeah, I think getting out of that, because as mothers, I believe that we just have this natural want to nurture, want to cater. And so
yeah,
even when it comes down to the business side, it's like, oh, how do I put a price tag on this? I just like doing what I do, right?
I just want to help people. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I love your transparency when you say that you were mad at God.
Yeah.
Because in 2009, I found myself in a situation where it crashed down on me too, and I lost my job, and I could not find a job. I always tell people I couldn't find a job sweeping the floor. I sweeping a parking lot. It was the job, was a parking lot sweeper. I applied for the job, and literally the man looked at my resume and he said, I cannot hire you for this. I said, sir, I need the job. He said, I will not. He said, you're too qualified and we're not. I said, if you just pay me minimum wage, I would take it, because at the time I needed a job. And when you talk about being mad at God, it's like, God, you told me to go get my house. I did everything you told me to do. I'm living for you. I am obeying you. Why is this happening? That's a
Yeah.
scary place to be.
Yeah. And now I can look back and see exactly what was happening, right?
Mm-hmm.
My husband had to be home so I could grow this business because I had
Yes.
my 6 and 7, baby 6 and 7 were 16 months apart. And so
Mm-hmm.
he was home taking care of them. And I was building something that I had no idea was going to support my family eventually
Mm-hmm.
and be a huge blessing to us and a lot of other people too. So
Yeah, and it's funny because you want it to be self-sufficient, you want it to be debt-free, right? And
yeah.
sometimes the way that God answers our prayers, it looks like a big mess in the beginning. It looks
Oh yeah.
like things are falling apart. And it's like God's like, no, I got to tear all of this down before I can come through and give you the new. And it's the answer and more to what you've been asking me for. So I think that is so wonderful.
Mhm. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
and something nice to lean back on too when because it continues to happen, right? We're like, this wasn't my plan.
Mhm.
And like on my desk here, you can see the listeners can't see, but I have the ampersand sign behind me. And it took me probably about 3 years of that, because my dream, I really wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. I wanted to volunteer in the classrooms. I wanted to do all this stuff. And I didn't want to be the breadwinner. I didn't want to have that burden on my shoulders. And God finally said, Cathy, you can be both.
Mm-hmm.
You can be a great mom and you can be a business owner. I was like, because I was like, God, I have 3 semesters of college. That's my education, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's why I say I was an accidental entrepreneur. Anyway,
Yeah.
just trusting, and he lifts us and helps us do
Mm-hmm.
more than we could ever imagine.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Because yeah, I love it. And I'm gonna share this with you. The audience, majority of them already know, that have been following us for a couple of years now. I didn't understand at the time what God was doing, right? I had just bought this house, I had been laid off, and for a whole year, I couldn't get anything. But all I did for that whole year was fast and pray. And I found myself praying for myself, but then God was bringing other people to me, like people I didn't even know, right? They were calling me, then they were saying, I heard about you. Can you pray? Can you? And I'm like, sure. But God, I need you to answer this prayer for me because I just got this house and they're talking about foreclosure, right? But what I never knew until some time later was that God was preparing me for things that were going to come. So all of the fasting and all of the praying had paved the way for the things that were going to happen in my life, and it was building me up, and it was making me strong and building my faith and my confidence in who God is and always will be. And He is a God that will never leave us nor forsake us, and He will be with us until the end. He is a man of his word. If he says it, he will do it. And I love that because now where I'm at, like you said, in my life, I can always look back now and say, God, you really did that. You did that. Didn't know where I was going, but you did that. You did it all by yourself. So I thank you for your trend. I love it. I love it. And so now you get to do your business. You get to be home with your kids. You get to be hands on with them. I love this. And I believe that the listeners, if you don't get anything else out of this story, understand that wherever you're at, especially those who are single parents, or perhaps you are in the place now where you're desiring it's your husband and it's you, and you just desire to spend more time with your children. Trust and believe in God and His plan, even when you can't trace Him. Just obey Him.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
love it. I
I think
love
the other
it.
beautiful part of it too is that, after we've gone through these things, we have more empathy for people that are
Yes.
deep in the struggle, right? And just like, hold on, just to be
Mm-hmm.
that voice.
Yeah, I love it. I was in my finishing up my undergrad, and I was going into my master's program, and I went and worked at a daycare for a little while, and I had so much empathy and compassion for those mothers that were coming in with their children. And I would listen to some of the other ladies who didn't understand. Sometimes you have to do what you have to do. You don't want to. It's not a choice.
Right.
um, but you're having to do what you have to do. And being able to walk alongside of so many women in that, because the daycare was not my thing. It was not something I had ever planned to do. But that was just another thing that God opened the door, and He's like, no, I need you there. This is where I need you. And for that time and for that season, I was able to share my testimony, to encourage other women, to let them know that if I can do it, you can too. And just tell them, I got you. If don't nobody else in this building got you, know that God got you, and know that I got you too. I'm gonna walk with you out, walk this thing out with you, as long as I have your baby in my care. And so, yeah. I would tell us where can we find your YouTube channel?
Well, so if you go to empoweredcooks.com, that gets you to, there's a link to my YouTube channel. There's a link to, we have an online store that has like my cookbook and different things. And yeah, that's just how you find me.
Okay,
Wow.
good. I'm gonna have the links on the description. So guys, please go to the description and I want you to follow the link and then you'll find anything and everything that you need to know about Cathy. The link to the cookbook on Amazon. I can put that up there individually, but you'll also be able to get there through the website as well. And I want you guys to please go out and support her because I've used it. And if I used it and I'm telling you I'm still using it, you have got to know that it is good because sometimes I can be a little tough with critiquing things. And so I love it. I absolutely love it, especially when it comes down to cooking. I'm not a chef. Let me say I didn't go to school to be a chef, but I can cook a little bit. And
Mm,
the recipes are delicious.
awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Even my son, he has autism, and he likes to get in the kitchen and cook. And so he's even started to use your book because the air fryer again is their thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so accessible. So many people, it's easy for people to use of all types of abilities. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I'm excited.
Um,
So how does because your older kids, how old were your oldest when you started out?
um, when I started like YouTube channel,
Your YouTube, and then
YouTube
when you
channel, my oldest, let's see, I don't know he's almost 29. So he's 24. So he was in college. I had a couple in college, so they got air fryers, and my oldest is still a single guy. He's actually getting engaged soon, but he's loved the air fryer for just a single guy. He'll do meal prep and reheat stuff in the air fryer, and it's pretty awesome.
Oh wow. Wow, that is good. So you have grown kids that are able to look back and see the progress where mom started and where
Oh
mom
yeah.
is now.
Yep. Oh yeah. And it's been cool because I mean, early on, we didn't have money, so like my son wanted to go to scout camp, and we're like, you got to go work. And so they just learned how to work. And I was like, also, I'm working from home, so everyone does your own laundry. Like
Yes.
by the age of about 8, like you're taking care of yourself now, right? So
Yes.
they've learned how to be very self-sufficient.
Yeah, I love this because I'm the same way with mine. I did not believe in not allowing them to do anything because as a child, I wasn't allowed to do but so much. My mother was, and I was just having a conversation with my sister cousin, and I was telling her how my mom, she might say, "Go clean your room," and I will go clean it, but then she's right there behind me,
Mhm.
redoing everything, undoing the
Oh,
bed, and I'm like, well, what's the point of me doing it? Not don't come in the kitchen. I got this, and I just didn't want my children to be like. I wanted to teach them this is how you live, this is how you do things. And so now, they're 25 and 21 and they're working, paying bills and just living their life, but they know how to be self-sufficient.
yeah. So important.
It's very important, very important. So I think the moms that are listening today, they need to understand that, please understand that you are only hindering your children when you don't allow them to do things that they are capable of doing.
Mhm. Even
There's
though it's not your way perfectly,
Right,
right? Right.
right. Because it's not gonna be, but stand back and just tell them how you're proud of them for doing what you've asked them to do. So yeah, yeah. Cathy, thank you. I thank you for joining us. Thank you for being transparent and sharing your story with us. I love it. I love that you let them know you guys didn't have a lot of money, but you still made it work. you know a lot of times people believe that, oh well, they see the end result but they don't know the beginning of a
Oh yeah.
story, and they just assume that, well, they already had. No, 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 no. Cathy is telling, when y'all get the cookbook, you're gonna understand. When you go to her website, you're gonna understand exactly what I'm saying. But Cathy did not start off where she's at now. She started and she put in the work and she trusted and believed in God. God is always going to be our foundation in everything that we do. With God, there's no failure. So Cathy is a success story. She is the living testament of what God can do. So thank you again, Cathy, for joining us.
Yeah.
And so until next time, guys, thank you for joining us. And please, please, please make sure, look in the description and go visit Cathy's website and get your book today.
Thanks, Brianna.
Thank you.
So fun.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Haven for Soul Care. We hope today's conversation has provided you with the encouragement and tools to take care of yourself and embrace the journey ahead. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider subscribing, rating, and sharing it with others who may benefit. Remember, you're not alone on this journey. Take a moment today to nurture your soul. Until next time, take care of yourself and each other.